Child protection agencies exist to safeguard vulnerable children, yet systemic failures repeatedly lead to preventable tragedies. One major overlooked risk is abusive live-in boyfriends or paramours who are disproportionately responsible for child fatalities. Aaden Batista and Emmanuel Murray were both killed by their mother's partners' deaths that could have been prevented had warnings been heeded. Despite known histories of violence, these men remained in homes where they posed a clear danger. This investigation exposes the fatal oversights that allowed these tragedies to happen, a stark reminder that ignored red flags often lead to lost lives.
The night before Aaden Batista died, his mother, Whitney Flower, was at work, unaware that her boyfriend, Jason Paget Sr., was about to commit an unspeakable act of violence. Instead of caring for the child, Paget smoked marijuana, played video games, and later bathed the unsuspecting toddler. Once Aaden was clean and dressed, Paget snapped. The details of his rage remain disturbing. He viciously shook the toddler before slamming his tiny head against the hard floor. Instead of seeking help, he placed the child back in bed, as if sleep could erase the pain. When Whitney Flower returned home, she found her son unresponsive. Paget fabricated a story, claiming Aaden had fallen off the toilet. But medical professionals quickly saw through the lie. The toddler's skull was cracked, bleeding internally, his body failing fast. Despite rushed efforts, Aaden succumbed to his injuries a day later, never reaching his second birthday. His mother and biological father, Jeffrey Batista, could do nothing but watch as his short life came to an agonizing end. Aaden became a statistic, one of many children murdered by their mother's boyfriends, a term child welfare agencies call paramours. Protecting children from these abusive figures has proven to be one of the greatest challenges faced by the Department of Children and Families, DCF. Experts like Richard Gels, a leading child welfare specialist, warned that paramours are a major red flag. Studies show they are significantly more likely to harm or kill young children. Yet their presence is often overlooked by child protection agencies. A Miami Herald investigation uncovered 477 child deaths linked to neglect or abuse where DCF had prior involvement. Shockingly, 62 boyfriends and 3 girlfriends were found responsible for these fatalities. Many had prior records of domestic violence, yet still had access to children. The most common victims? Infants and toddlers, unable to defend themselves, whose cries trigger violent frustration in their caretakers. These children, like Aaden, become victims simply because they are in the way. DCF Interim Secretary Esther Jacobo acknowledged the issue, admitting that many cases lack proper monitoring. Yet, despite these revelations, children continued to die at the hands of paramours who should never have been near them. For Aaden Batista, the failure was even more blatant. DCF had received a hotline report about Paget's drug use and reckless behavior just 10 days before Aaden's death. Yet, the investigation failed to fully consider his violent past. Paget had been arrested 22 times, with a record of domestic violence, aggravated battery, and robbery. He had abused multiple women, including his own mother. Yet, DCF did not take adequate steps to keep him away from of ensuring Aaden's safety. DCF allowed him to stay in a home with a violent man. By the time the truth came to light, it was too late. The tragic death of Emmanuel Murray mirrored that of Aaden Batista in many ways. He too was a helpless child, placed in the care of an abusive live-in boyfriend with a violent history. But unlike Aaden, Emmanuel's death was even more public and horrific. Emmanuel's mother, Jasmine Bedwell, was just 17 years old when she met Richard McTeer Jr. The couple's relationship was volatile, riddled with domestic violence. Yet, DCF failed to act quickly enough. Bedwell, a state foster care graduate, had no family to turn to. She confided in caseworkers about McTeer's abuse, yet despite multiple warnings, DCF delayed action. They even encouraged McTeer to take on a role in the baby's life. By April 2009, a report came in alleging McTeer had assaulted Bedwell, sending her to the hospital. Case files showed he had kicked in her apartment door twice, making violent threats. A background check revealed 17 prior arrests, including child abuse, kidnapping, and domestic violence. Despite this, DCF's response was insufficient. Instead of removing McTeer from the home, they advised Bedwell to file a restraining order. She tried, but never completed the process. On May 5, 2009, McTeer's violent tendencies reached their peak. Bedwell returned home to find him waiting inside her apartment. What happened next was beyond comprehension. McTeer allegedly beat, kicked, and choked Bedwell before turning his rage toward the sleeping infant. He poured soda on Emmanuel's face and slammed him onto the concrete floor when Bedwell ran for help. McTeer kidnapped the baby, drove down Interstate 275, and threw Emmanuel out of a moving car. The baby was just 104 days old. By the time authorities found him, Emmanuel's tiny body lay broken on the side of the highway, still dressed in his blue onesie. He never had a chance. DCF's own review of the case admitted that investigators failed to prioritize the child's welfare. They had focused on Bedwell's victimization rather than the safety of her child. McTeer was arrested and charged with murder and kidnapping. His trial ended in a mistrial, but prosecutors continued seeking the death penalty. The deaths of Aaden Batista and Emmanuel Murray are just two of many. Both cases reveal a deeply flawed system where background checks are delayed, red flags are ignored, and violent individuals remain free to prey on defenseless children. How many more must die before the system changes?
I got this ring right here, son.
Yep.
If I handed it to you right now, nobody knows I'm wearing it. Could you give it back to her? It's her father's.
Yeah, I would do that, man. I'm not here to make your life any worse.
Who's that for? It's Whitney's.
Let me grab a... Here, I'll put it in. I
I just want you to give it back to her, sir. I'm asking you to. It ain't gotta be...
To be honest, I think that's... It shows that you're a decent guy.
Friends, today's skid mark is Jason Padgett. In April 2010, Aaden Batista was found unresponsive in his bedroom. The injuries he received were so severe, you're gonna be shocked.
Okay, because he didn't fall from a toilet. Okay?
Did you ask that
I'll
little girl
show you
what happened up
porno
there?
pictures with massive hemorrhaging. Massive hemorrhaging. So deep into the brain that it's physically impossible. Not to mention, he had a torn and his was black and blue from someone ripping at it.
No.
How does that happen from a
damn
fall?
sure wasn't for me.
Because
you're
also
I know all that.
charged with sexual battery on a child.
Are you serious?
Yes,
that's part of the charges.
Yep.
That's part of the medical findings. Is besides the massive head injury was damage to his
mutilation to.
From how I'm saying the damage to his anus from when though?
Well.
In general, just in general.
Well, the penis was fresh. You could see there was some.
Sure I do that, sir. I don't mess with no little kids' penis.
Okay.
I'm not no fat.
But you see where we're coming from
Yeah,
right
I do
now.
actually.
Okay,
I do.
We have a
I
kid
didn't know all
with,
that.
Yeah, we have a kid with a major head injury.
Okay, so where are they saying the head injury came from? They don't know. I mean, I'm not saying
Well,
they don't
you're
know,
telling
but-
me it came from him
I know,
hitting
I know.
his head.
They can't say how it happened,
Oh, I know that. I know.
but they can't say how it couldn't have happened.
Okay.
Okay. They can say it did not happen by a simple fall. Okay.
Man,
It is physically
But I'm like,
impossible.
I'm nowhere near the only person that watches this kid though. Like as far as that other
Okay.
shit, man, I ain't do no shit like
But
that.
once this kid was hurt, there would have been no telling that he was hurt. There would have been no mistaking that he was hurt. Okay? Like you said, he cried for 15 minutes. Has he ever cried for 15 minutes before?
Yeah.
Okay. But like I said, all this together, okay, when they did the medical exam, I said they found the damage to the genitals, okay?
Oh, that's fine.
And the damage
That makes me
head.
look really bad, man.
But you see what I'm saying? All this comes together,
What
and it makes you look really bad.
Yeah, it does.
It makes you look like a real monster. Okay? It looks like the kid was tortured. That's what it looks like.
Remember
Okay.
when we put you in
Damn,
the
wow.
car and I said people are either going to draw conclusions from the evidence and think you're a monster, or you can tell us the truth. And I know it's not as bad as what people are going to make it out to be,
Hell no,
but
man.
you did more than that.
Okay?
I swear I didn't, man. He was upstairs for an hour, but I don't want to put that on no little 13-year-old girl, man.
Yeah.
You already confirmed when I talked to you the first time that kid
I'm
came
talking
back
about his
fine.
nuts and all. I didn't change his diaper.
I'm
He was in
talking.
the
Well,
shower.
you gave him a bath.
Yeah, he wasn't bruised
He's
up.
naked in the
Yeah.
bath. How did you not see it on his genitals?
He wasn't when Whitney had him at the hospital.
How did you not see it in the bath?
Okay,
You
listen
gave
to
him
me.
a
Hold
bath,
on,
correct?
hold on. You like to do that. That's not necessary.
Wait. How did you not see
Okay,
his
you gonna
bruised
listen.
penis?
When me and Whitney took him to the hospital and they stripped this child down. This child didn't have a bruise on his penis. This child didn't have a red mark on his thigh. This child didn't have anything wrong with him. So if there wasn't nothing wrong
He
with
was
his
life flighted to Arnold Palmer
no, you're not.
in
I'm not
grave
talking about.
condition.
I'm not
How
talking
could you
about his
say he
head
had
injury,
no...
sir. Please, man. Like I know I can say.
Wait, how
I
did
don't
he
wanna
get the
talk-
head injury? How did he get the head injury?
I told you how he got the head injury, sir. What I'm saying, listen. You're talking about. I am talking about his injuries to his testicles and his ass, sir. When we took him to the hospital and they took his clothes off him and put him in the thing.
How would you see his anus? Did you...
I'm not talking about his anus. I'm talking about his. Didn't I just come and what? Like I want to sit here and talk to you guys. I know all I got to say, like you said, is I don't want to talk anymore, and I go back there. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, we're
But
here
what
for you.
But what I'm saying to you is, when he was stripped naked on that hospital bed at Holmes.
You weren't even there. You left because you said you were afraid of getting arrested.
What?
You left the hospital. You left Whitney
Aren't
at
you
the
the person?
hospital.
Aren't you the person that knocked on the window?
Hold on.
Sir. Hold. You're
Did
not
you
listening to me.
leave? Did you leave
Why
Holmes
does he wanna
Regional
listen to me?
Hospital?
When did you leave the hospital?
When you knocked on the car window, sir, you woke me up from sleep in
No.
the car.
Did you leave before that?
No, I did not.
You were not.
I went outside to
wait,
smoke
hold
a
on.
cigarette.
Did you have to be called back to the hospital?
Oh yeah, yes sir. I went to smoke a cigarette into the store to give her something to drink, or so I asked if she wanted anything. All I had was a food stamp card.
So Chris Plum's lying?
About what? That was at 4:00 in the morning after you, sir. Yes, it was. I've talked to Chris. Yes,
Yeah, we know you talked to Chris. He told us you told him what to say.
I told him what to say.
Yes. I'm telling you, man, you think these people are your friends?
No,
They
sir.
think you're a monster.
No, sir.
I'm just being straight with you, Jason.
Okay.
All right? I told you, I'm not sitting here at 2 a.m. lying to you that Chris
Okay.
Plum told us that.
When you backed out of my house at 3:30 in the morning, I went up to Chris's house
Yep,
and knocked on
I
his
know
door.
that. That's what he
I
told
did not leave the hospital and go anywhere. You can ask the black security guard. He's the one that see me walking back from across the street. I was by Circles of Care. I was just walking around smoking a cigarette. I did not leave and go back to the house. I did not say, "Oh, I'm leaving the hospital because I don't want to get arrested." Because if I was afraid to leave, if I was afraid I was going to get arrested, when they called me back,
Did
I
you
wouldn't have
ever
came back.
say that you were afraid of being arrested? To anyone?
Oh, of course I was like, man, I know they're going to try to take me to jail for this.
Why, if it's an accident?
Because Whitney called me on the phone and was like, "Hey, baby, they're saying, what'd you do to my baby? They're saying that what you
Yeah,
said."
but that wasn't... When was that?
The day I left. I was still there when she called me on the phone. I was
So
at
where?
Arnold Palmer Hospital at the Ronald McDonald House. She calls me on the phone screaming, telling me to come meet her. I come around the corner and she comes screaming, "Oh, you killed my baby, Jason, tell me what you did." I was like, man, don't say that. Don't accuse me of that. Because they're going to say, okay, well, they're going to say that I killed your baby and they're going to want to take me to jail. You out here screaming all that shit, man. I'm not no murderer. I'm not a murderer.
Have you ever struck him in the head?
No.
Okay. We have 5 witnesses saying that they have seen you close fist punch him in the head, slap him in the face, drag him across the parking lot.
That's a lie.
Twist his ear.
That's a lie.
Strike him, throw
That's
him
a
on
lie.
the scooter, and then
Listen to me. He's not lying. Okay,
Yes,
people,
you gotta be.
listen to me.
everyone's lying.
Listen
but
to
you.
me. People have said that. Okay?
Well,
Can I talk to you?
The only time that scooter is ever at my house is when my 3 sons are there. I got a 9-year-old son that will tell you I
So the
never
rest
did
is
that.
true, but the scooter's not?
None of it's true.
Okay, listen to me. This is what people said. Okay? He's speaking the truth. I mean, we had detectives out there all day doing stuff. People were coming up and telling us that. Okay?
I talked to
Now, okay,
a bunch of people. I know.
okay. Now listen to me. So we have that, all that stuff, okay, making you look bad, okay. I'm not saying I'm taking sides. I don't believe anybody right now.
Everybody's took a side already.
Okay. Well, let me talk, okay.
Because we don't have yours.
Okay. Now, listen to me. We have that, okay, and like I said, we have these injuries, okay. Now with the genitals and the rear end part, I'm still not decided what that means yet.
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
that's
Listen to me.
Man.
But there was enough evidence because of his injuries to charge you with the sexual battery. Okay. Okay. So you're the only one with them. And then we have a head injury, which the medical examiner said that there's no way it could have caused by a simple fall. Okay. Now we got all these things building up against you. Okay. Now, the general parts, debatable. What people say, debatable, okay? Because that's people talking. People talk. What's not debatable is the head injury, okay? What I'm trying to get is that if we don't have the whole truth about that,
okay. I sit here and I'm trying to run back everything that happened that day that I could have possibly done to injure that child's head like that, man, and I can't come up with a single thing.
But see what I'm trying to say here is that, okay, I'm willing to give you on some of these things, okay? Because there's a long way between somebody, you know, I had kids, when some things happen that shouldn't happen because you get angry, and when somebody tortures a child, okay?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
like,
I don't think you're the type that would torture a child, okay? Just by talking to you, you know.
Kids, sir.
Okay, I understand. And we talked to your ex-wife, see how you treat those boys, you know, DCS have talked to them. We see how you treat your boys, okay? You don't seem like the type that would torture a young child, okay? Okay? And that's what I'm trying to work with you here on that. Okay? Maybe you don't deserve all these charges because you got 5 different charges on you because of the damage to his body, okay? See what I'm saying?
But one thing I know about the state of Florida, sir, is nothing I tell you or anybody else is going to make a difference. When I get in the courtroom with all this stuff y'all are saying, they're going to hang me.
Okay, but what if we can explain part of it?
Just be honest. And if you made a mistake and you had a temporary lapse in judgment and snap and said, look, I punched him. All right. Well, it doesn't make it look like you punched him 10 times because he had 10 hemorrhages in his head. Okay? Just be honest, man. You screwed up. You made a mistake and we got the evidence. We're not saying you're a bad dad. Okay? No one said you're a bad dad, to be honest. I don't think you set out that day and said, I'm killing Aaden. For whatever reason, I don't know what the trigger was, but something happened that day.
Nothing.
You didn't mention to me that you were smoking marijuana.
You didn't ask.
Well, come on, man. You didn't mention Amber and Tim came over.
I forgot.
You conveniently leave out details.
So you got to understand, you woke me up out of my sleep at 3:30 in the morning.
But you conveniently told me every single detail about the bath and the slipping and the toothbrush.
I forgot about
you knew that those
Amber.
details.
That shit wasn't nothing, man. They were
but to be
outside.
honest, I could give a shit less about weed. Okay, I don't care. I'm worried about a kid that was beaten to death. No, what bothers me the most is the ME said that if he got immediate medical treatment, he would have survived. At that time, you were up playing Xbox in Chris Plum's apartment.
Actually, I was in my apartment, so I was showing him how to play my Xbox.
Well, we have witnesses seeing you go up to that apartment twice for 20 minutes. We're not saying long.
No. Okay.
And I'm not saying you did drugs those times. I'm not saying you did drugs those times. You went up, it was something to do with a game, right? He was showing you how to do something with a game?
I was showing him how to do something with a game. With something.
You know, and this reiterates that what I'm telling you, you know I'm not lying. You know that Chris was honest with me and told me, because if you're agreeing, then obviously I'm telling the truth.
Well, I talked to Chris on the phone yesterday and said not to be rude, but he said you were a dickhead.
Actually,
and that you tried your best to get him to say whatever it was that you wanted him to say, and he told you straight up he wasn't in the apartment and he didn't have nothing to do with it.
That's funny because I didn't talk to him yesterday.
No, he talked to me yesterday and said he talked to him the day before.
Well, you know what? I am a dick when a 2-year-old gets beaten. I am a dick.
He said you kept accusing him and saying he was going to be an accessory or something like that. I don't know.
Well, you know,
I'm just going by what he said,
when you protect someone and a person like yourself that uses intimidation on people, you know, that's what happens. People do lie. Because everyone that I've talked to seems to say you can go from 0 to 10 like that. And I think that's what happened to Aaden. Something pissed you off and you went from 0 to 10 and you can't take it back.
22-month-old child that can't even speak.
Nothing.
Piss me off.
Nothing but something, because he's in a freezer right now in the ME's office. So something happened. Do you not disagree with that something happened?
Yes, sir.
How is he dead? You tell me. You were the only one else in that apartment by your own statement. So tell me.
When I was in the apartment with Aaden, I didn't do anything to him, sir.
So the bath didn't happen.
The only time that child was awake and out of my sight was maybe for an hour and a half when he went upstairs. That's it. Maybe 45 minutes.
Just out of precaution, why didn't you just call the rescue? Just get him checked out. He fell. He slipped on the tub.
My kids do.
He looks fine, but can you just check his vitals? Just check him over. I want to make sure he's all right.
My kids fall all the time, sir. I never thought.
He drowned in blood in his head. He drowned in his own blood.
He was like my son.
I believe you loved him.
To death.
But I think something upset you. And unfortunately, you know, we have statements from people saying you were screaming at him, saying, I told you to go to bed, go to sleep. And then all you hear is crying for 15 minutes. And you yelling. Come on, man. We got multiple statements from people saying that. Is that a lie?
Yes, sir. How can they say?
I'm telling you, don't ask me questions back. Okay, well, who gave him massive brain hemorrhages?
Wasn't me, sir. I mean,
who tore his anus?
How can I?
Who gave him hepatitis C?
I don't have hepatitis C.
Well, someone gave him it.
Cool, 'cause I ain't got that. So now what?
When's the last time you went to the doctor?
I just got out of prison, sir. I haven't been sleeping with nobody but my baby's mother.
Would you be willing to take a test for hepatitis C?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah. And if
when did you get out of prison? Or was it prison or county jail?
Jail, prison, both.
But remember, hepatitis C didn't kill him.
I understand that, sir, but the person who did this to him might have had hepatitis C, right? Is what you saying?
No, that's just that's something else they found.
That's just another fact that we found out.
You can't tell how long he's had it either.
He didn't die from hepatitis.
He could have had it for a while and us not know it.
Like we said, we don't know. The tear in the anus could have been from injuries. It doesn't necessarily mean that you were having sex with him. There are other, I'm not saying.
I know I wasn't having little tear.
The problem is we have evidence, but we don't know because Aiden's dead and you're the only one that knows. So that's why we need to interpret. Do we need to charge him with this? The evidence is showing a torn anus, but there could be an explanation.
Let's get back to the story. Okay, he's standing on the toilet. Is that right?
He what?
He's standing on the toilet
Yes, sir.
before this all happens. And what are you doing?
I was brushing his teeth, sir.
Okay, and what happened?
I turned around to rinse his toothbrush off, and he fell over backwards
Okay, where did he land?
in between the toilet and the tub,
Was he face up or face down?
face up.
Face up, and he was crying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how long do you think he cried?
Already 15 minutes, sir.
Okay.
10 minutes. I already told you.
Okay,
So now understand.
and what did you do next?
I picked him up, and the first thing, Chris heard him crying. The first thing I asked Chris, man, does he look all right? Like Amber even seen him before I put him to bed, man. He was walking around eating a Twizzler. He was all right. He was
You
sitting
said
on the
Amber
couch.
saw that too.
Huh?
You said Amber saw it too.
Amber seen him afterward. After the shower incident, they seen him.
What time was that?
Oh, 8 o'clock, sir. 8, I don't know. So
How did she see him?
She was outside. They were at my
Outside
house.
your apartment?
Outside. They were at Chris's house, but when Chris came down, they came down with him.
He did go to bed injured, and we have evidence of that.
Okay, I know that, but I'm saying,
How did he have blood on his onesie, on his crotch and buttocks? Explain to me that.
he didn't.
You want to bet? You left it in a bag, hanging on the bed.
Whitney took his shirt. Oh yeah, no, the blood. He did have blood in his mouth and on his crotch.
Well, how's it get? How's
Maybe
it
right here.
covering his crotch?
Oh no.
Okay, he would have had to lost every teeth for that much blood to get on his crotch, and his whole crotch is blood, man.
Okay, so where did the blood come from, sir? There wasn't a blood in his diaper or nothing.
Are you kidding me?
There was blood in his diaper.
Are you kidding me?
I
You're
watched
asking me where the blood came from.
You're not
Are you-
listening to me, sir. I'm just trying to. I want it for myself. I'm asking questions too now.
It's what you did to him. That's what the blood came
What I'm
from.
saying is, if there was blood all
The
over this,
15 minutes of crying and screaming and you yelling, go to bed, and the kids screaming, that's when it happened. You want the answer? That's when it happened. You can shake your head. You know it. And we got the evidence
so
to
if I
prove
did
it.
something to hurt him and there was blood all over the place, you think I'm dumb enough not to throw the?
That's
away?
exactly what every one of us said, too. He couldn't be that dumb.
I didn't. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You were panicked. You got a history of violence, but you never took it this far. You never came to murder. And you couldn't think. You were scared to death.
It is a fact, though. You were scared to death.
Rightfully
You know
so.
what? I can see. After what he said just right now, that hits you right there. Okay? I can tell. You know, you're not a stupid person. You're not a criminal. You know, you've got a past, but basically you're a good person inside.
Not no more.
Okay? There's always a chance for you.
It's just a dead man, sir. It's
Okay.
just a dead man walking.
There's always a future. There's always things that can happen. Okay?
There's nothing that can happen.
Okay?
So, at the very least, be a stand-up guy and tell the truth. I mean, what do you got to lose? Either you look like, at least you can say, look, I was a man and I freaking said what happened and I stood up. No one can call you a girl, or you can go to jail, stick another toilet, sorry, that's fine. But we all know that's not what happened. The jury's not going to think that's what happened. We're going to have a mountain of evidence. But if you tell me, look, this is what happened, this is how we hit his head, look, it just got out of control. I'm not trying to put words in it. I just want to hear what happened. Whitney wants to know what happened. A lot of people want answers. Why did this 2-year-old die? And you're the only one with those. And if I could plead with you, I would, but I don't know if it would work. But a lot of people want answers. And hopefully someday they'll get them. And you're the only one that can do that, man.
I got this ring right here, sir.
Yep.
If I handed it to you right now, Nobody knows I'm wearing it. Could you give it back to her? It's her father's.
Yeah, I would do that, man. I'm not here to make your life any worse.
Who's that for?
It's Whitney's.
Let me grab I'll put it in an envelope. I
I
mean,
just want you to give it back to her, sir. I'm asking you to. It ain't gotta be.
to be honest, I think it shows that you're a decent guy. But I'm not. I'll do whatever the.
It's not mine, sir.
I can't prove it because I didn't see it. Only thing I know for sure is this massive head injury, where there had so much bleeding inside his head that when they went to do the exam, his brain practically flew out of his skull because there was so much pressure. Because when you damage especially a child brain, not like I said, this can be just from a fall, is that it swells to the point where it almost explodes.
So they're saying it could be blunt force trauma, but it couldn't happen from a fall.
Well,
I'm just asking.
no, and I'll explain it. It's the toilet was 17 inches high.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we took measurements. In fact, you gave me
I gave you that.
Because of Aiden's height, when he fell back, him falling back, he wouldn't have hit his head. He would actually hit his back. And then he would have, we did experiments and then we did all this. And that's why when I was saying we can disprove that just can't happen. And he had a bruise over here on his
Yeah,
eye.
Honestly, that there was not from me, and his mother will attest to that. He got hit in the face with a scooter the day before.
And do you see how easily something like that's explained away?
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, well, I believe you. Okay. How did he have 5 brain hemorrhages in his head? Was he shaking? Go to sleep, Aiden. Or was it, like I said, he could have been shaken too. The injuries, although you think one's an impact and one's just shaking, they have similar diagnoses and symptoms. And the doctor said it's either multiple blunt force trauma or shaken.
So they're trying to say, I'm just asking. When you say multiple blunt force trauma would mean that I punched this kid in his head until he was dead or something to that effect?
Yep.
Without a knot.
I don't want to misquote.
I'm just asking.
I don't want to misquote, so I want to look. I don't want to.
What the doctor said is that the force that this injury occurred, okay, was he compared to as an automobile accident. You know, if you didn't have your seatbelt on, the violent tossing, okay, is that violent? He said, and that's what because he tries to put it on, because I don't understand the medical terms. He said this is about as simple as that I can put it. That violent of an automobile accident, okay. And the trouble is with these injuries is that it's all inside the head. There's no external. Okay, it don't even have to be a big bump or anything, because the bruising's not between your skin and your skull. It's between your brain and your skull in there. And it hits there. So the bruising's all on the inside and the bleeding's all on the inside, and it has no place to go. And it continues to swell and bleed, and that's what causes the death. Okay? So you could do something to him and not realize it at first. So what happened? When it comes down to it, it's pure and simple, Jason, that you're the only person there. Okay? That's the pure and simple of it. I don't think you're a sadistic person that tortured this young child and killed him. Okay? I think it was that you did something that was regrettable, something you shouldn't have done, Because, you probably, all I can think is you lost your temper for a split second and did something that caused this extreme injury to him. And that's just a simple fact of it. There's really no getting around it. And and I don't want you to go to trial or go before a judge and making you look like you're some sadistic animal.
It's gonna happen anyway.
Okay. Everybody can, even though it's against the law, there's no getting around it when you lost your temper and this happened. But it's a far cry from somebody who just went overboard and tortured a child. Like I said, when they came up with those other injuries, I was totally surprised.
I was shocked too.
I was going, what? That doesn't make sense.
Like, okay. I'm saying, how long, the tear in his anus, how old was it? That's what I'm saying.
There's no
the
telling.
Penis, it could have been like if, say, you grabbed him down there and picked him up forcibly by, like, his crotch area. It could have been caused
I used to bounce him on my knee all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't. That's what I'm saying.
To be honest,
I'm not far from
the bruised penis didn't kill him.
I know.
Yeah.
The injuries to the head. So that's really what we're concerned with.
Okay. But the doctor's still looking at that stuff. He's looking at, because with the tissue samples, they look how deep is the injury and stuff, and that takes a while. So that's why I'm not putting a lot of stock in that. I'm not.
He even said I'm not going to conclude until I do more tests.
Okay, he's not going to be done till after this weekend. That's how many hours he's putting into the study. Okay, and like I said, the only thing for sure is the head injury.
I mean, we just want to know what happened. Plain and simple.
Because you can make your, so once you lie, then anything else no one's going to believe. Okay.
Yeah. So if I change my story now, no one else is going to believe.
What would you? Of course. I mean, obviously you're crying, so you care. So obviously you do care. If you sit here and stand in front of me and tell me, look, this is what happened, why would I not believe you? Like I said, the evidence is going to prove whether your story is the truth.
Do you think I can tell if you're telling a lie or not?
Pretty damn good.
Yeah,
Okay.
With the toilet, we knew you're lying. So I will know if you're telling the truth.
And I didn't even see the physical evidence. Just talking to you, I can tell.
What you're in here for.
So why don't you go ahead and tell me?
What pieces do you remember?
Enough.
Start with that.
When he slipped and fell, did you pick him up?
Yeah, he was alright, I guess.
Okay. Where did you take him then?
In the room, got him dressed, regular stuff.
Okay. Was he still crying?
Yeah, for a little bit. He really did cry for about 15 minutes, though.
Okay.
He fell. I don't know. Chris will tell you that.
Then what led to the something had to trip you, something had to cause this to happen?
What have you been denying for so long?
I really don't know what happened to the kid's balls. I really don't.
Okay.
Like, to be honest with you.
Take that and throw that right off the table.
But I'm just, in general, though, like, these accusations, you said you couldn't speak for me, so I'm just saying, like, with his ass and his balls, I don't know.
Okay.
I like to believe that. I'm halfway there.
I just blacked out.
Where did that happen? In the bedroom? Was he in the crib?
At first. Whitney called me and told me to check on him after the fall, because I did call her at work and tell her he fell.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in there to check on him, but he wasn't asleep. I didn't care that he wasn't asleep. I wasn't mad that he wasn't asleep.
Did you wet the bed?
No, yeah, I don't remember if he went. No. I changed his diaper, but he hadn't went to bed. I was trying to prevent that. She asked me to take his shirt off because it was hot in the house. I told her, it's hot as fuck. She's like, man, take your shirt off and change his diaper. He was already up. So I picked him up out the crib. And when I picked him up out the crib, he kind of like, you can ask with me. He used to like play with me all the time. But he punched me in the eye, like playing, and I dropped him on his head. And he was all right, I guess. And I was changing the diaper, but I wasn't mad. I wasn't mad at him when I dropped him because he punched me in the eye. I was all right, you know what I'm saying? It frustrated me, but damn, I was more worried about like, shit, I just dropped the jit, you know what I'm saying? Like back of his head from 6 feet in the air, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but he looked all right. And then I was changing his diaper and it was shitty. So he got up with the poop on him and he tried to run, so I grabbed him by his neck and I, like, you know what I'm saying? I just snatched him back like, goddamn, Aaden, what are you doing? And he fell again, he hit his head. I grabbed him by the front of his neck. I was like, hold on, man, where you going? Don't run, we got shit on you, you know what I'm saying? And he fell and hit his head on the ground again, boom. And I was like, goddamn, man. He kept rolling around on the floor like he wasn't getting shit anywhere or nothing, but he just wouldn't lay still. And I kept yelling at him like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't yelling, go to bed. I was yelling like, you gotta go to bed, you know what I'm saying? Like, stop, man. I'm trying to fucking, all I want to do is get you dressed, stop fucking bucking. You know what I'm saying? And then he started crying because I yelled at him. I don't even remember shaking him that hard.
Did you shake him though? Yeah.
It sucks, man. It does suck. It's sad.
His eyes rolled in the back of his head, and I was like, oh shit, hey, come on, man, what's up with you? And he could kind of like, he was all right-ish, not at all. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think, there was no way, man. The first time he hit his head on the ground, though, he fell fucking hard, man.
Was it the changing table on top of the crib?
No, the floor. I never used the changing table. He was way too big for that. Way too fucking big.
Mm-hmm.
And I originally, I was changing his diaper and I had his hand in my hand, his arms were on top, and I was holding him. And I said, baby, what's wrong with you, man? I said, why you punch me? I wasn't mad at him, really, you know what I'm saying? And then when he didn't even cry really from that fall. Like, your man knocked him dumb, though. You know what I'm saying? The way he didn't even... Because I could look at him after he fell the first time, man, and he was a little like...
It sounds like what you're saying is that it might have just been the shaking. You know, the fall, he may have been okay. And then I went
back in the room a little later. I went up to Chris's after that, and I was like... I wanted to tell Chris, like, Chris, you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if this nigga's doing all right. I just kind of dropped him on. I don't really remember like the whole shaking thing. Like I know I was like, yo, little bit. Like you said, it could have been. I don't know.
Did you pick him up like while you said while he was running? Did you pick him up and like, hey, like kind of calm down? What are you doing?
No, when he tried to run away from me, I was on the floor and I just kind of like grabbed his leg. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, get back here! And I grabbed and snatched his foot, and it spun like it just spun around again. You know what I'm saying?
Like when you shaking, were you holding him by his arms or how were you holding him?
Like I said, I had his head like this and he kept like screaming and kicking and pushing me away and I was like, hey, just stop. Like there's no need for that shit, man. I just want to change your diaper, put you to bed and do what I was doing. And then he stopped.
Even that little bit is, and I believe it. I believe that's right because even that little bit was a little kick.
It wasn't even really, I can't say. It was just a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody said, no, Jason, you know how strong you are, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just wanted him to stop crying because I didn't mean to drop him, you know what I'm saying? And when I didn't mean to drop him, but I'm talking about when I grabbed his leg more than anything. Like dropping him originally, if you poked me in the eye, was honest to God, fucking, he hit for on accident.
Is it possible when you grabbed his leg, maybe that's how his... I don't think you sexually abused him.
No,
I've said it from freaking day one.
I just don't want to touch anyone. A man, let alone a child, it's a man.
But is it possible when you grabbed his leg, that's how his, maybe it caught, like his, like, I'm trying to work with you here. I don't know
what happened with his...
Is it possible? that like when you grabbed him, that's how, did you grab him by the crotch? That's why I asked how you picked him up. When, at any point.
I never picked him up by his nuts, sir.
But like you said, you had his head here. Where was his body? When you said like his head was here.
Yeah, I had him laid on his back on the ground. I had found after he fell, boom, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even drag him to me, you know what I'm saying? After he fell, I was like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? I picked him up and he was screaming. Yeah, I picked him up off the ground just regularly, you know what I'm saying? I didn't pick him up by his nuts, nothing. I just picked him up and he was screaming. I was like, baby, stop.
So he was laying on his back, and how were you? Were you on like your knees? If he's laying on his back, like were you like,
originally,
I'm down?
I was like that, and then when he was crying, I went to talk to him, so I got on my elbows, you know what I'm saying? I had his head in my hands, like, yeah, and he was underneath me with his legs like spread over my knees-ish, you know what I'm saying?
Did he have his diaper on at that time or no?
Yeah, because I had just, the whole changing, and he tried to run. I pulled him back over and he was crying. I threw the diaper on him, threw powder on him, you know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, stop crying. What are you crying for? You want candy? The same thing that got him to stop crying earlier. I couldn't get him to stop crying. And when I was shaking him, I just was like, ah! And I let his head hit the ground again.
It sounds odd, but where'd you put the diaper?
Probably in the poop thing.
Okay, because I saw there was a diaper in the bathroom and then the poop can in the...
Yeah, I think I put it in the poop thing. That's when I pooped out.
So you said that you did that again.
Yeah, I had my elbows up and I had him like this. I lifted him up to me and I was like, hey, why don't you fucking just stop? And and boom, he hit his head again. And as he was like rolling a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
His eyes were rolling back? Was that the third time you hit his head?
Actually, I'd say the fourth because he really fell in the bathroom.
Okay, so that's okay. And then his eyes started rolling back, and what happened then? You put him to bed or
lost it? I didn't know what else. I didn't know he was fucked up like that, but I knew I banged his head on the ground. You know what I'm saying? A couple times in the last 5 fucking minutes here. You know, and I just didn't know what to do.
Were you afraid? Like, oh shit! Like, if I call the rescue or something, I'm done. I'm screwed.
Not really. I wasn't, honestly, I didn't think that I didn't think at all actually, but I didn't think that nothing that honestly in my heart as a father, didn't think anything that other than the original drop was far enough to hurt him, sir.
And you're hoping that,
yeah, when I put him to bed, I'm talking about he just stopped crying. He stopped crying and I was like, okay, you done now? And he kind of like looked up at me. And he wasn't limp or nothing though when I picked him up, you know what I'm saying? He was still kind of squirmy, but he didn't have a full fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I just laid him in bed and I was like, yo, do you want your baba? And he didn't even want it.
Do you know what time that was when that all happened? 10 o'clock or so?
Ish.
Okay.
Can you walk through like what happened when Whitney got home? Was he on the couch or in the bed?
In the bed. When she got home, he was in the bed.
Okay.
Is that where you put him?
Yeah, because I you know what I'm saying, after the diaper was changed, I really personally, like I said, there weren't any, I checked, you know what I'm saying, there wasn't a bump or, you know what I'm saying, or nothing like that. So it wasn't like, I did all the routine. I didn't know that, oh, well, if a kid bumps his head and there's no knot, well, most likely the damage is internal, dumbass. You know what I'm saying? They didn't tell me that till the next day.
Well, the one thing that, the blood, like I think in a way you could be right about like you didn't see blood, but I'm trying to figure out how he got it. Like he may have been laying there and it could have dripped. I don't know.
Like I honestly, this onesie.
So God's honest truth, you didn't see blood on his face or anything.
No, I didn't see blood on him, and if I did, honestly, at that point, I would have tried to cover it up. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have. I'm not that scary. You know what I'm saying? I would have tried to cover it up, sir. I didn't know there was any blood until Whitney got home.
Okay.
And the blood on his crotch, sir, I would like to say I hung his onesie over the crib. It wasn't in a bag or nothing. And Whitney was trying to wipe his mouth out with something to try to see in his mouth. So if she wiped his mouth out with the onesie, that's cool. But I didn't put him to bed with no blood. Obviously, there wasn't no blood in his pillow or nothing like that, was there?
That's what I'm saying. Reason I ask is so I can explain it. You know, they'll say to me, well, how does he explain the blood? And it could be that.
I really don't remember what happened with the blood. He wasn't bleeding when I put blood on the sheets, or no, he was not bleeding when I put him to bed. He was fine.
Walk me through what time does Whitney get home?
11:20.
Okay, so that's still the same.
Yeah.
She gets out of work at 11 and 20 minutes to get home?
Yeah, maybe 10, 15 minutes.
What happens when she comes in the house?
I met her outside of the car and was like, baby, you might want to go check on him, you know what I'm saying? I went in there earlier to check on him. And she was like, all right, I'll go check. I just knew. When she screamed in the other room, oh my God, he's breathing funny.
What does breathing sound like? Did it sound like?
I don't know. I was in the other room. I wasn't in the room. I was in the other room. I heard it through the monitor. That same monitor I showed you.
You said you knew. When she went to go check, you knew.
I just had a feeling in my heart, you know what I'm saying? And when he was laying in that bed, I didn't think he was dying, though, you know what I'm saying? Maybe he might have had a concussion or...
Sinking feeling.
Yeah, I did. Like, I felt all right all night until that girl got home. And she asked me, how's my baby? And something in me was just like, ugh. Like, that's a good question. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how he is.
That shows remorse.
And
That shows you're human.
I ain't never beat him and slap him and punch him and all that. That's a goddamn lie there.
Okay, I just want to explain what's going to happen to you. The charges have to stand for right now.
I know that.
Okay. To do the official charges, they have 33 days, and now that'll be the final charges they'll decide. And we'll show the state attorney what you told us, okay, and explain, you know, the story, okay? Okay, and like I said, the medical examiner is still going to be working all this weekend trying to come up with...
I want to know, like,
What? Just on the hepatitis, do you know anyone with hepatitis?
do I?
Yeah. Did Whitney ever mention, like, he could have been born with it? Maybe
I don't
she
know.
didn't mention
Maybe
it.
she has it. I don't know. I might have.
Well, she took a
got that.
test, the results haven't come back, so we're just trying to explain it. That
That's
was
what I'm
kind of
saying.
like
Now,
a
let me
weird
ask you a
thing.
question. If Whitney had hepatitis, I've only been back 6 months. I was with her for a year before. You know what I'm saying? No kids, no nothing. She was just a single mom.
Yeah.
I mean, single woman, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? No nothing. And I was only back for 6 months. So if she caught hepatitis before that,
See, like,
And they gave it to
I've
me
been
and
told
her
by a
baby.
nurse that if when she gave birth, if she had hepatitis, she would have known. And if Aaden was born with hepatitis, they would have known.
They would know, yeah.
So
Okay.
it had to have been from birth to present. I'm just asking you, does anyone, like,
I don't
do you
know.
know anyone in the immediate that would have contact with Aaden? Because, no. And the medical examiner might say, you know, this could have happened this way or that way. I'm not a doctor. I was just asking.
I don't even know how you get hep C. Other than
I
know
think it's
sex
either
is
sex or
obvious.
blood. I think sex or
That's what I'm
blood.
saying. Like,
He doesn't have blood transfusions or anything like that medically.
No.
So,
My question is though, like, with his ass and stuff, like, man,
well,
that shit comes back to be months old. You know what I'm saying?
well, and now, again, I said in 33 days, that'll all be adjusted. Okay. You know, the major charge is dealing with his death. Okay, the two charges, either the felony first degree murder or the manslaughter.
Does it sound like I murdered somebody?
It's really hard to say.
It's
really hard to say.
Negligent in his death.
Okay.
I'll go for that all day.
You know, I mean,
Okay.
murder's a
Yeah, like to murder somebody.
I don't think you
takes a
meant.
lot,
I don't think that like you said, you set out to murder. In this whole scenario, he sustained injuries which caused his death. Okay.
Yeah, but nothing. If I'd have seen like a bruise or something, I probably would have been a little bit more like, oh shit, I really fucked him up. But aside from the fact that I couldn't believe all that bullshit that just happened with him, you know what I'm saying? And he was looking like he was looking like.
Yeah.
everything happened quick.
I couldn't. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. My only thing is that, again, when the medical examiner gets done with all his findings, that it fits your story right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because he said that the head was extreme. Okay. It wasn't just a single bump, because there was so much swelling. And sometimes he may not be able to tell 2, 3, 4, 5. He won't be able to tell. He'll just be tell that the amount, the extreme, the swelling of the head, which means more than just a bump on the head. Like, ooh, I bumped my head.
Oh yeah. No.
Okay. So, like I said, I always try not to make any promises.
I don't want you to promise me.
I try to be
I
upfront.
just want him to tell with me, man.
Well, we'll tell Whitney what you told us.
He knows what to tell her.
Okay. But that, like you said, these warrants will stand for the 33 days, and the state attorney
I
will
could have
decide.
left town yesterday, y'all.
But really, you would have been running. You're running, and we're gonna catch up with you. This would have hit. To be honest, it would have been horrible because it would have hit that. We would have had to go to the media to find you and say, and it would have been like,
I didn't want my kids to go through none of that.
yeah, it would have spiraled out of control.
I knew.
So you did the right
thing. I knew that when the medical examiner, I told him when he got done that they were going to see. You know what I'm saying? That there was more to it than what I said, and I just.
Why do so?
Sir, the only reason I lied to you, I'm gonna be honest, is because I didn't want to go right there.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
to be honest, I
As a
wouldn't have
man,
taken
I'm
it right
sorry.
there. There was still investigation to do. I don't.
I wasn't sure. I
There's
wanted to
more.
see my
There's always
kids.
two sides to a story,
I just want to see my kids one more time, sir.
and
I'm sorry. I lied to you.
Oh,
you don't have to.
I almost forgot. One more thing we need to do, if you don't mind.
What's that for?
It's a DNA swab. So when we go through the evidence, we see what's Whitney's.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If you swab my mouth right now and test me for Hep C without my permission, then
No,
what?
this is just
You
DNA.
still do it though.
I don't.
No, hepatitis has to be
I
blood.
don't know. I'm just asking.
Yeah, hepatitis
I
is
still
blood.
want to take that test anyway. I want to know if I got it, but
Yeah,
I'm just-
yeah. This is just to get your what they call profile.
Is there any way?
Everyone
I know y'all
deserves a
can't
second
promise
chance.
me anything. Is there any way y'all can get me to protective custody in this jail? I just don't want to die tonight.
No, you will be. You will be in protective custody.
You can guarantee me that, sir?
Yes. Well, as far as sexual battery, anytime there's anything with a child, I mean, you've been to jail more than me. You probably know the inside more than me. So, but anytime I've dealt with, I do just sex crimes and child cases. Usually they're in protective custody, automatic if it's crime against a child.
I think even on all homicides, I think they put them in solitary for.
I think they put because they may even treat you like you're suicidal because they just assume it's such that you're in a tough emotional state. So they're going to treat you with
If you ever come down to that point, make sure you tell them.
No, I'm good. Listen, I'm not gonna kill myself. I got kids. It's not my thing.
Yeah,
I don't want to die.
a second chance in life.
Now we got this all out of the way. I don't like to get into religion too much, but there is forgiveness. Okay.
What's that?
Yeah. You need they have chaplains up there. They have Bible studies up there.
I've been there at all. Most of them dudes just go to Bible study because they're just in jail and they want.
Doesn't matter what
get
they're
something
doing.
out of it.
It's what you need. If you need to talk to the chaplains on your own, they'll talk to you.
Could y'all do me a favor and not tell PJ?
I won't even see PJ.
Where is he? Did he go to jail?
Wait.
They arrested him.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
I really sir, out of all the things.
He didn't know about it. And he didn't protect. He wasn't hiding
No,
out, right?
He knew that what happened. He's the one that took me to Orlando Arnold Palmer.
Yeah, but he didn't know that you were wanted.
No, nobody knew I had a warrant. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, if I knew I had a warrant, I wouldn't have let y'all come knock on the door at whatever o'clock in the morning and just arrest me like that. I would have waited at least a week or two with my kids, you know what I'm saying, somewhere I knew I was safe.
Yep.
And then I'd have went ahead on and turned myself in.
Yeah.
I didn't know I had a warrant. He didn't know.
Yeah, I understand.
Nobody knew. Just yesterday, everything was fine.
We'll talk to him real quick here and decide what to do with him. But
We're diving into a really tough issue today, the deaths of young children at the hands of their mothers' boyfriends. We're going to look closely at the cases of Aaden Batista and Emmanuel Murray. Really heartbreaking stories that expose some serious systemic failures within child protection services.
Yeah, you're right. These cases are incredibly difficult, but they offer valuable lessons about the risks that what are known in the child welfare system as paramours pose. And that term is specifically used to highlight the statistically higher danger that these individuals can pose to children.
Wow. Yeah, it's a term that unfortunately underscores how frequently this kind of tragedy occurs.
Right.
It's unsettling to think about how common this situation actually is. Our deep dive today is based on a Miami Herald investigation into the Department of Children and Families, DCF, and their findings are pretty alarming. They identified 457 child deaths that were linked to abuse or neglect where DCF had prior involvement with the family, and a staggering 65 of those deaths involved a paramour.
You know, the sheer number of cases is a clear indicator of systemic issues within child protection agencies.
Right.
It suggests a failure to properly evaluate and address the potential dangers posed by paramours. A failure with tragic consequences, as we'll see when we examine these two cases.
Yeah, for sure. Let's start with Aaden Batista. He was only 21 months old when he died. Can you paint a picture for our listener of what happened to Aaden?
Sure. Aiden's mother worked while her boyfriend Jason Paget Sr. was supposed to be watching him. However, instead of caring for Aaden, Paget spent his time smoking marijuana and playing video games.
Oh, that's awful.
And tragically, he ended up violently shaking Aaden and slamming his head against the floor.
It's hard to even imagine the terror that Aaden must have felt. And then Paget tried to cover up his horrific actions by claiming that Aaden had simply fallen off the toilet.
Yes, but Aiden's injuries were far too severe to be consistent with a simple fall.
Right.
He had a cracked skull and internal bleeding, and he died from those injuries just one day later.
This case really brings the whole concept of paramour danger to the forefront. The Miami Herald investigation quoted Richard Gels, a leading child welfare specialist, who warned that paramours are statistically far more likely to harm or kill a young child. Why do you think that is?
Well, there are many potential factors at play. Some of these men may have their own unresolved trauma or maybe repeating patterns of abuse they witnessed or experienced in their own childhoods. This is what we call intergenerational trauma. They may also lack the emotional maturity or parenting skills to handle the stresses of caring for a child who is not biologically theirs. And unfortunately, sometimes these men view the child as a rival for the mother's attention and affection.
It's a terrifying thought. And in Aaden's case, what's even more disturbing is that DCF received a hotline report about Paget only 10 days before Aaden's death. Can you explain to our listener what a hotline report is and what this specific report entailed?
Certainly. Hotline report is essentially a call to a dedicated line where anyone can report suspected child abuse or neglect. In this case, the report detailed Paget's drug use and reckless behavior, both of which are major red flags. It's tragic that this crucial information was not acted upon.
The missed opportunities to intervene are just infuriating. And it turns out that Paget had a long and violent criminal history, 22 prior arrests, including charges of domestic violence, aggravated battery, and even robbery.
Wow.
He had a documented history of abusing multiple women, including his own mother. It's just mind-boggling that DCF wasn't aware of this.
That's a critical point. It's essential that child protection agencies have access to comprehensive criminal background checks and that they thoroughly investigate any reports of potential abuse. It seems that in Aaden's case, there was a failure to connect the dots to see the clear pattern of violence that Paget exhibited.
It makes you wonder how many other children are at risk because of these oversights. Sadly, Aaden's story isn't unique. Another case that highlights these systemic failures is that of Emmanuel Murray. He was just a baby, only 104 days old when he died. Tell us about Emmanuel and his family.
Okay. Emmanuel's mother, Jasmine Bedwell, was only 17 years old at the time and a state foster care graduate. She lacked the support system that many young mothers have, which made her especially vulnerable. She was in a relationship with Richard McTeer Jr., and their relationship was very volatile, marked by repeated domestic violence. Jasmine had reported this abuse to DCF.
But rather than taking steps to protect Jasmine and her baby, DCF actually encouraged McTeer to be involved in Emmanuel's life.
Yeah.
Knowing what we know now, that's absolutely baffling.
It certainly raises serious concerns about DCF's assessment and decision-making processes.
Yeah.
There seems to have been a failure to recognize the inherent danger in encouraging an abuser to remain involved with the family.
And sadly, as you might expect, the violence in the relationship only escalated. In April 2009, McTeer assaulted Jasmine so severely that she ended up in the hospital. There were also reports of him kicking in her apartment door on 2 separate occasions and making violent threats.
Right. A simple background check would have revealed that McTeer had 17 prior arrests, including alarming charges like child abuse, kidnapping, and of course, domestic violence.
Wow.
The warning signs were undeniably there.
But instead of taking decisive action to remove McTeer from the home, DCF simply advised Jasmine to file a restraining order.
It's a common misconception that a restraining order offers guaranteed protection.
Right.
In reality, they can be difficult to obtain and enforce, and they may even escalate the violence in some cases.
And tragically, in this case, the restraining order wasn't enough. On May 5th, 2009, McTeer attacked Jasmine in her apartment, beating, kicking, and choking her, and then he turned his rage on baby Emmanuel. What happened next is just horrifying.
It's almost too painful to recount, but McTeer poured soda on Emmanuel's face and slammed him onto the concrete floor. When Jasmine tried to run for help, he kidnapped Emmanuel and drove off.
Oh my gosh.
He then threw Emmanuel out of the moving car on Interstate 275.
Oh no.
Emmanuel's tiny body, still dressed in his little blue onesie, was later found on the highway. It's just unimaginable cruelty. He was just a helpless infant and he never had a chance.
DCF later admitted that they had failed to prioritize Emmanuel's safety, focusing more on Jasmine as the victim of domestic violence, rather than acknowledging the danger McTeer posed to her baby.
It's a classic example of mother blaming a phenomenon where child protection agencies sometimes focus more on the mother's perceived failings rather than addressing the danger posed by the abuser.
That's so disturbing.
This can have devastating consequences, as we see in Emmanuel's case.
It's clear there were so many opportunities to intervene and protect Emmanuel, but they were all missed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what's even more concerning is that these failures aren't isolated incidents. When we come back, we'll delve deeper into the systemic issues at play and explore some potential solutions that might prevent these types of tragedies from happening again. You know, it's easy to get lost in the emotional weight of these individual cases, but it's crucial to remember that they represent a larger systemic problem.
Yeah.
Behind the statistics are real lives tragically cut short.
Yeah.
And we need to understand the complexities that contribute to these horrific outcomes.
Right. We can't lose sight of the human cost of these failures. But how do we even begin to unravel something so complex? Where do we even start?
One thing that makes these cases so difficult is the layered vulnerability.
Okay.
You often have young single mothers who may be victims of domestic violence themselves, struggling to make ends meet and provide for their children.
Right.
Then you have these paramours coming into the picture, often bringing their own baggage histories of violence, instability, and a lack of healthy relationship skills.
It sounds like a recipe for disaster, and it seems like DCF is often caught reacting to crises after they happen, instead of stepping in early to prevent these situations from escalating.
Exactly. That reactive approach is a major challenge for child protection agencies.
Right.
Imagine if DCF had taken that hotline report about Padgett more seriously.
Right.
If they had thoroughly investigated his violent past,
Yeah.
perhaps they could have intervened in a way that would have protected Aaden.
In Emmanuel's case, if they had truly recognized the escalating danger McTeer posed, maybe they could have found a way to help Jasmine leave the abusive relationship or taken steps to remove McTeer from the home altogether.
You're hitting on a crucial point.
Yeah.
In that case, DCF seemed more focused on addressing Jasmine's victimization,
Right.
almost as if they were blaming her for the situation.
Right.
Instead of prioritizing Emmanuel's safety, which is an example of what we call mother blaming. It's a dangerous pattern that often leads to overlooking the true source of the danger of the abuser.
It's heartbreaking to think about how a system designed to protect children can end up failing them so tragically. And these aren't just isolated cases of individuals making mistakes.
Right.
We're talking about deeper systemic issues.
Absolutely. We're talking about inadequate training for caseworkers, overwhelming caseloads that make it impossible to give each case the attention it deserves, and chronic underfunding that limits resources and support.
Wow.
It's a perfect storm of factors
Yeah.
that sets the stage for these kinds of tragedies.
It feels like we're pointing fingers at the people on the front lines, but it sounds like we need to look at the bigger picture, the policies, procedures, and leadership that are contributing to this broken system.
I completely agree. We need to ask tough questions about how DCF assesses risk,
Right.
how they prioritize cases, and how they allocate the limited resources they have.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we need to demand accountability.
Yeah.
When children are dying, preventable deaths, we deserve to know why and what steps are being taken to prevent it from happening again.
So if we're talking about solutions, where do we begin? What concrete steps can be taken to fix this broken system?
One crucial step is to improve the way DCF screens and assesses paramours.
Okay.
We need more rigorous background checks, better access to criminal records, and more sophisticated tools for identifying potential risk factors.
Uh-huh.
It's not just about checking for a criminal history.
Right.
It's about understanding the nuances of domestic violence and recognizing the patterns of behavior that often precede tragedy.
That makes sense, but it sounds like a massive undertaking.
Yeah.
It would require a significant investment of resources and probably some changes to laws and interagency cooperation.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Effective change requires collaboration.
Right.
DCF can't operate in a silo.
Okay.
They need strong partnerships with law enforcement, schools, healthcare providers, and community organizations to create a truly comprehensive safety net for children. It's about sharing information, coordinating services, and recognizing that everyone has a role to play in child protection.
It seems like we're talking about a complete overhaul of the system, not just a few tweaks here and there. It's a daunting challenge.
It is daunting, but it's a challenge we cannot afford to ignore.
Yeah.
We need to start by acknowledging the problem, demanding better from our elected officials, and advocating for policies that prioritize the well-being of children. We also need to shift our focus from a reactive approach to one that emphasizes prevention and early intervention.
What do you mean by prevention and early intervention? What would those programs look like?
Think about programs like parenting classes, home visitation programs for at-risk families, and readily available mental health services.
Okay.
These types of programs can provide support and resources to families before they reach a crisis point.
Right.
They can help address underlying issues like substance abuse, domestic violence, and mental health challenges, all of which can significantly reduce the risk of child maltreatment.
It makes sense to invest in prevention. It's not only the right thing to do morally, but it seems like it would save money in the long run.
You're absolutely right. Study after study has shown that investing in early intervention programs saves taxpayers money in the long run.
Oh, wow.
These programs can help keep families together, reduce the need for costly foster care placements, and lessen the burden on the criminal justice system. It's a smart investment in the future of our children and our communities.
So far, we've focused on the systemic failures and potential policy solutions. But what about individual responsibility? What can parents do to protect their children from these dangers?
That's an important question. I think the first step is for parents, especially mothers, who are in vulnerable situations, to really understand the risks associated with bringing a new partner into their children's lives.
Right.
They need to be vigilant, to trust their instincts, and to be extremely cautious.
So you're saying don't rush into introducing a new boyfriend or girlfriend to your kids.
Right.
Take your time, observe their interactions, and pay close attention to any red flags.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask tough questions about their past, their values, their parenting style, and how they view discipline. It's about prioritizing your children's safety above all else, even if it feels awkward or uncomfortable.
It sounds like it's about making informed decisions and being willing to put your children's needs first, even if it means making difficult choices in your personal life.
Absolutely. And if you have any concerns about your partner's behavior, even if it seems minor, don't hesitate to reach out for help.
Oh, okay.
Talk to a trusted friend or family member, contact a domestic violence hotline, or seek professional counseling.
There are resources available, and there's absolutely no shame in asking for help. It's a sign of strength and love for your children. You're not alone in this.
It's important to remember that. Seeking help is not a sign of weakness.
Right.
It's a sign of courage and responsibility.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that you don't have to face these challenges alone.
We've covered a lot of ground today, and it's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
These cases are both devastating and complex.
They are. But I think one of the key takeaways here is that child protection is everyone's responsibility. It's not just up to DCF or law enforcement. It's up to all of us, parents, neighbors, community members, to be aware, to be informed, and to be willing to speak up if we see something that's not right.
We can't just assume that someone else will handle it. We can't be bystanders. We need to be advocates for the children in our lives and in our communities.
You're absolutely right. We need to be informed, engaged, and willing to hold our leaders accountable.
Right.
And that includes supporting investigative journalism like the Miami Herald's work that brought these issues to light in the first place.
That's a great point. We need journalists who are willing to dig deep to uncover the truth and to challenge those in power. Investigative journalism plays a vital role in holding institutions accountable and driving social change.
It does. And often it's the only way these kinds of systemic failures are exposed.
Yeah.
So supporting organizations that do this crucial work is essential.
So connecting all of this back to the bigger picture, what can our listener do to make a real difference in their own communities?
One of the most important things is to stay informed. Read investigative reports, follow news coverage of child welfare issues, and understand the challenges facing your community.
Right.
Knowledge is power.
Okay.
The more you understand the problem, the better equipped you'll be to advocate for solutions.
It sounds like you're also saying we need to use our voices. Contact our elected officials, demand better policies, support organizations working to protect children, and most importantly, speak up if we see something that seems wrong.
Exactly. We can't afford to be complacent. We can't assume someone else will fix this.
Right.
We all have a role to play in creating a world where children are safe and protected.
It's a big task, but it's one we can't shy away from.
Right.
And it's important to remember that change takes time.
Yeah.
This is a long game, but it's a fight worth fighting. Every child deserves to grow up feeling safe, loved, and protected.
Well said. It's a fight for the very soul of our society. What kind of world do we want to live in? One that values and protects its most vulnerable members, or one that turns a blind eye to their suffering? The choice is ours.
That's a powerful message to sit with. We've covered a lot of heavy material in this deep dive, but it's absolutely essential that we have these conversations and confront these uncomfortable truths. So as we wrap up part 2, what are the most important things you want our listener to remember?
I think the key takeaways are, 1, the presence of a paramour in a household with young children is a statistically significant risk factor that we need to be aware of and take steps to mitigate.
And 2, our child protection agencies need better resources, more effective training, and improved risk assessment tools to properly protect vulnerable children.
And finally, and perhaps most importantly, we all have a responsibility to be advocates for children.
Right.
We need to speak up, demand change, support organizations working to make a difference, and hold those in power accountable for their actions.
This deep dive has been emotionally challenging, but incredibly important. Knowing what we know now, how can we as a society create a safety net strong enough to catch children like Aaden and Emmanuel before it's too late? That's the question we need to keep asking ourselves, the question that should drive us to action. You know, these cases really highlight the vital role that investigative journalism plays in exposing these kinds of systemic failures.
Yeah.
If it weren't for the Miami Herald's in-depth reporting, would we even be aware of the extent of this paramour danger and the tragic consequences it has for so many children?
You know, it's a great point. Investigative journalism often serves as a catalyst for social change, shining a light on uncomfortable truths that many would rather ignore.
It's like holding up a mirror to society and forcing us to confront our own shortcomings, our own blind spots.
Exactly. And the Miami Herald's investigation did just that. It exposed a pattern of negligence within the child welfare system, a failure to protect the most vulnerable among us.
Right.
And it sparked outrage, prompting calls for accountability and reform.
It's a reminder that a free and independent press is crucial for a functioning democracy, especially when it comes to holding powerful institutions accountable for their actions.
Absolutely. We need journalists who are willing to ask the tough questions, to dig deep, and to challenge those in power.
Right.
And we as citizens need to support this kind of journalism both financially and through our engagement. It's often underfunded and underappreciated, but it's essential for a just and equitable society.
So connecting this back to our deep dive and what we've learned about the dangers facing children, what can we as individuals do to make a difference? What actions can we take to create a safer world for kids?
Well, first and foremost, we need to stay informed.
Okay.
Read those investigative reports, follow the news coverage of child welfare issues, and make an effort to understand the challenges facing your community.
Right.
The more you know, the better equipped you'll be to advocate for meaningful change.
Knowledge really is power in these situations.
Right.
You can't fight for what you don't understand.
Exactly. And once you're informed, use your voice.
Okay.
Contact your elected officials. Let them know that you care about these issues and demand better policies to protect children. Support organizations that are working on the ground to provide services and advocate for change. And perhaps most importantly, don't be afraid to speak up if you see something that seems wrong. If you suspect a child is being abused or neglected, report it. You could be saving a life.
It can feel overwhelming to think about tackling a problem this big, but it's important to remember that every action, no matter how small, can contribute to positive change. We can't just sit back and hope someone else will fix it. It's up to all of us.
You're right. Change happens incrementally through the collective efforts of individuals who are willing to speak up, to demand better, and to work towards a better future for all children. And remember, it's a long game.
Yeah.
Don't get discouraged if you don't see immediate results. Keep pushing, keep advocating, and never give up hope.
Yeah.
Every child deserves to grow up safe, loved, and protected.
Well said. We've covered a lot of heavy and emotionally challenging material today, but these are conversations we can't afford to shy away from.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are the most important takeaways you want our listener to carry with them?
I think the key points to remember are First, the presence of a paramour in a home with young children is a statistically significant risk factor.
Right.
We need to be aware of this danger, understand the dynamics of domestic violence, and take steps to protect children in these vulnerable situations.
Second, our child protection agencies are in desperate need of more resources, better training, and improved risk assessment tools to do their jobs effectively.
Yeah.
We need to demand better from our elected officials and hold these agencies accountable for their actions.
And finally, and perhaps most importantly, we all have a responsibility to be advocates for children. We need to speak up, demand change, support organizations working to make a difference, and never ever turn a blind eye to a child's suffering.
This has been a difficult but essential deep dive. We've explored the tragic deaths of Aaden Batista and Emmanuel Murray, uncovering systemic failures within child protection services and the devastating consequences of overlooking the paramour danger. But we've also discussed potential solutions, emphasized the importance of individual responsibility, and highlighted the power we all have to make a difference. You've heard the stories, you've learned about the complexities of this issue, and now it's time to act. What will you do to ensure that children like Aaden and Emmanuel don't become just another statistic, another forgotten tragedy? How will you contribute to creating a safer world for all children? That's the question we leave you with today. Keep learning, keep questioning, and keep fighting for a better future. Until next time, keep diving deep.